Excuse me while I continue to set this up. Happy Halloween. I'm gonna do something nerdy instead of spooky. Although, the game that I'm working on is pretty spooky. I'm gonna 3D design some of my magnetic shells for my set of Betrayal at House on the Hill. That way all the tiles stick to each other. But I have to measure it. I'm like 80% done. No, like 90% done. I just have to finish the design of the centerpiece. There we go. Zoop. Okay, so this little teeny tiny picture that you might not be able to see, maybe I can make it a little bigger. Zoop. This is the set. Well, there's an example in this picture of how they clip together, but it's the set of starting tiles for each of the levels in the house, i.e. the house on the hill that the betrayal takes place at. The square tiles were pretty easy to model for, and they have 2 magnets in each side, but the large, like 3 tile long with a front door, ground floor starting tile is just a bit weird, and so I have to measure it more and just calculate the pieces that I need. So let's get started. Okay, this is my project file. I have modeled this little bit of the starting tile, so I got the radius correct, but I have not made it long enough to fit all of the magnets in the sides. So that's what this project is going to be. That's what this stream is going to be. But let's put the design image up. Yeah. Just so people have something to ask about if they show up. So, I have my calipers. I have the paper card itself right here on my desk so I can measure it. And I have a couple of the printed tiles with the magnets already in them so I can measure the distance. I can go the distance. So what I'm really facing here is... Here, let's go... Where is my sketch for this one? So, a needle pulling thread. Ah. Okay, so that sketch was just to print the test piece, so I can delete everything there. So this is essentially what the tile will look like, but I don't think I have these distances correct. The distance let's do a quick measurement here. The distance between two magnets of the same tile should be as a parameter, but it's about 40 millimeters. I gotta put the battery in my calipers to get an exact measurement. It's 38 millimeters. Yeah, 38.05. Yep, that is correct. But the distance between the next two are not the same. Is not the same? It should be 42 millimeters. So these square tiles, there we go. These square tiles clip in side to side on any face, and they need to be able to line up on the edges of these faces. So this is gonna need to be longer. Do I have a parameter? Oh. How do I ban you? Get lost. Get out of here. Manage suspicious user. Block. Ban. Ha! Get banned. Anyway. Oh, you can't see my dialog boxes because of the way I'm hosting. I have my parameters list pulled up. And what am I looking at? I need to find the total length of the entrance. I'll probably just measure the length. What? Oh, I have parameters selected. Oh, wow. The length of the entrance. Entrance length, 228. Is that correct? My calipers do not go that far, but I do have a ruler. Spooky game. There we go. So this would be 200, yeah, and 28. Yep, 228. So why is it not this long? The distance between, oh, it needs to be the interface. This distance and this one, 228.5. Okay, so that is correct. But the magnets don't line up? What went wrong here? So these magnets line up. That's good. Can I make a copy? Whoa, that is not what I wanted. Copy. So you see how if we place them next to each other, they clip. The magnets are not in the right spot. Oh yeah, because the doorways won't line up. I remember. This is probably why I stopped development of this and it didn't finish. So I have to determine how the tiles connect to each other, because cancel this extra margin. Let's go top view. So the edge of the tile is at this line, and there is more space after that line on the outside. Here, this thickness affects the spacing. So when you're playing the game, it doesn't particularly matter that the doors line up exactly, and so I don't think this will be much of a problem. I just have to actually calculate it. Let me get some more tiles. So if I have three rooms, oh, I wish I could show you this. 3 rooms in the tiles connected together, it is longer than the 3 rooms in the starting tile. Yeah, by like 5 millimeters. And that means the doors necessarily won't line up. But that's okay. That's okay, I just have to measure the distances correctly. So the distance, let's check parameter. Is there a room? Where is it? Shell, not shell thickness, shell border. 8 millimeter border. It's 1.5. Oh no, that's the thickness of this. Okay, let's just check the sketch. Sketches, shell room. So this, where does this dimension come from? D15. Shell wall thickness. So to make these magnet locations line up, I have to add shell thickness in this pattern. So room side plus shell wall thickness times 2 multiplied by 2. And I want to be sure it is this that's multiplied by 2. So you might not be able to see, but the pattern here should be wider. Oh no, Freddy Fazbear has appeared, and Slister his friend. Perhaps inside of the suit, here to eat me. I went and saw the FNAF movie yesterday. It was cool. It was not scary. Not like horror movie scary. It was definitely children's horror, but it was a good movie. I would recommend. Here, let me release Slister 1021. Ha! That command does nothing, but perhaps it assuages your grief. Let's try copying this again. Move and copy. Yeah. Yeah, this way. I don't think I have an overall width of the shell. Yes, I got him free. Now drop that remnant-infused spring-lock suit and get out of there. Come join me in the digital realm. Security breach. And on the other side... Okay, so that is not lining up. I just want to be sure. That does... that is not quite correct. So I have to change it. These edges almost line up. Two. Okay, there we go. But the magnet does not. Needs to be... What? 0.3 more? Oh no, it's the other way. Oh, it's off by 0.1 millimeters. That's probably realistically okay, but I do need to calculate it. The cupcake scene was goofy. Yeah. I only really know about FNAF lore because of the game theory and other YouTube videos. And I really don't know what the cupcake is. I think I've seen it before, but it was interesting. Oh, and that's why there were 4 kids. I didn't pick that up as I was watching the movie. Because one of them is the cupcake. Right? Forced to learn Freddy lore. Oh. Just like in the one movie scene. Are your eyelids held open too? Okay, this is off by 0.1, but that is tolerance. I think I have a tolerance. Yep, tolerance is 0.1. So I just need to... Oh, no. Back. Pattern. Shell wall thickness. Why does this dialog box get so teeny tiny? Shell wall thickness, and then also plus tolerance times 2. Okay, now let's try this again. Eight-hour-long video essays. It's the worst. And by worst, I mean it's a great thing to put on as you're doing something else. Minus 0.1? Yep. And they do not line up. What am I modeling? Oh, here, let me make this bigger. So, this picture I just took of the starting tiles in the tabletop game called Betrayal at House on the Hill. It is a procedural generation, house exploring, then eventually phase 2 is someone becomes a traitor and you play a story, and it's really hard for the survivors to win unless you have a really good plan game. So as you're exploring the house, you add more of these tiles to, like, you connect the doorways, And in order to keep it all together, I've designed a shell system that the paper tiles sit into, and they have magnets on the edges, so they just snap right on face to face. And that works all well and good for the square tiles because that's easy to set up, but there's this weird long ground floor tile that has 3 rooms all connected together because it's like an entryway foyer. Oh yeah, it has an entrance hall, it has a foyer, and has the grand staircase which goes upstairs. And that is just one giant piece, and it makes a bit of a challenge because what I'm measuring here is the distances that a set of 3 rooms actually take, and it doesn't line up perfectly because the shells that I make have some thickness on the edge past the tile. So anything between these 2 lines is just extra distance that the tiles wouldn't normally have when they're sitting next to each other without the magnetic shell. So I have to just do a little bit of calculations to make sure these little like cubbies, the holes for the magnets, actually line up correctly. And the shells can snap to each other, but also to this weird long piece. It is a bit reminiscent of Clue. It's developed by Wizards of the Coast. Same developers as Dungeons and Dragons. And so it has kind of that vibe to it. Fantasy, dangerous, but kind of story-based. And in phase 2 of the game, after you've explored a bunch of the house usually, it usually is one person versus everybody else, but like that one person, the traitor, gets a whole bunch of special powers, and as the traitor, like they're able to pass through hidden doorways, and then they control monsters and stuff. But what was I going to say? The actual scenario that you end up playing is different every game because it depends on how you ended up going to phase 2 of the game. If you found a book in the kitchen, you're going to play a different scenario than if you were bitten in like the crypt. And in each of those scenarios, you have a completely different story of why the haunt happened, what triggered the next phase. And so it's really high replayability, and it's really fun to play in groups. Although it's unfortunate that the one person who has never played the game that you're inviting to play the game usually ends up being the traitor, and so rip. Because the traitor's a bit more complicated to explain. Hey, Mo Spider, welcome to the stream. I got some modeling to do. I'm planning on bringing this game, Betrayal at House on the Hill, to the event on this weekend. And, oh yeah, you need to tell us if you want a ride up or whatever. We can discuss logistics, but I got this picture of the starting areas, and I'm modeling the entrance hall, which is a weird shape and a weird length, and I have to get the magnets to line up correctly. Yoink. So in this current setup, I have the entrance, which again is a weird shape, but I have calculated the radius already. I just need to get the magnets to line up. And the issue is when you put the rooms next to each other, they're not the same length because they have a little bit of border that is the wall of the shell that actually holds them in. And so when you place 3 of the shells, oops, not you, end to end connected as they would be, then they're longer than the entrance piece. And so the doors actually don't line up. I never really noticed it because the way that you play, it's not really a problem. So I'm just going to proceed with making the shell have weird magnet spacing. But I think I'm off by like 0.1 millimeters still. Yeah, check it out. This does not line up with this. Just kidding, that's the wrong one. With this. Ah, see, they're slightly off. This needs to line up with this. The height doesn't particularly matter. Hold on, actually. I think the height of them is correct, but again, it's just the magnets. Okay, let's go back to this one. No, let's figure out exactly how much it's off. So right now, these two are touching, but the magnets don't line up. Is that because I gave a little bit of extra space? Negative 0.1. See, now they line up because that is a tolerance. Oh. Oh yeah, I think I built in some tolerance in between the shells in case the magnets don't fully set. So that must be what that is. So that means we want to change these to have, hey, cancel. These times 4. And now if I move this negative 0.1, they don't line up even more? What? Oh, wait. Okay, I did it correctly. So there's this tiny gap, and I'm okay with that gap being there because of the magnets. And then that means these line up correctly. Let's see if it also works on the other side. Guess I'll just move it over there by hand. This tiny little gap means that these are lined up. Okay. So when you have these connected here, there's a little bit, wait a minute. I think what I did, oh yeah, the way I modeled this was to alleviate that error a little bit. It references the center room instead of the like front door room. Oh yeah. Oh, that's plenty good. Good job, past me. That is a good idea. So you don't actually notice the error much because this shell that's highlighted right now isn't the one that starts the the measurement. And so it won't be lined up with the doorways. The center one will be lined up with the doorways. Cancel. Put it back. There we go. The center one is the one that's lined up, and so the ones on either side are slightly off, but equally off. It's not compounding because it's only a total of 3 rooms. So let's erase that. Delete all features afterwards, so there's still only the one shell. I can close that. So I want to print... Do I want to put like a support piece? That might be a good idea. Just so it doesn't like bend in the center. Nah. Let's find the midpoint and then just make a little bar. Or I could like use my logo. That would be cool. I think I have it as a DXF? No, SVG file. Do I have it saved as an SVG? No. I can do that in the slicing stage. I'm gonna just put big logo in here. But either way, at this stage, what we want to do is cut this up and print a test piece. I only want... So I don't want to print this whole thing because that just uses a lot of filament, and if it doesn't work, then I just have used a whole lot of filament. What I want to do is just use a little bit of filament to test if the piece fits and if I have correctly judged the distances of the magnets. So I already have, you can see it in the picture. Let me make it big again. In this picture, there's a like red outline on the front door. That's actually my little test piece that I had cut. It was just the front because I wanted to make sure if I got this radius correct. And then I noticed that the magnets would be wrong. And so that's what I fixed this time. And that's what I want to test print. So let's make a new sketch on this plane. Just needs to be in between these. Finish. And, oh, actually, I want to make an actual sketch plane. I just want to print this edge. Doesn't even need to be the whole thing. And redefine sketch plane as this one. So now I can extrude that this way as an intersection and only get this piece. This is the actual test piece that I want to print. It's just a really long bar, but all the dimensions should be the same or correct. So I want to save it as a mesh. And then here's what the mesh will look like. You can see the lines of the edges. You won't be able to see this dialog box, but it's time to save. Under tabletop games, under Betrayal Lighthouse on the Hill, shells, entrance shell test. Okay, that saved. Let me make sure it's here. Do I have... Where did I save these before? Either way, let's open up my slicer. Slicer? I barely know her. And let's change. And capture. No. No, not that one. Where's the slicer? And fit to screen, and there we go. So I have a Voron 2.4. This is what the build plate approximately looks like, and we got to import the files here. I can do it really simply just by drag and dropping. So this is how long the piece is going to be. I'm okay with this. What I need to just pay attention to is the G code. So my current settings are to get a 2-line skirt, not a brim, because the first layer I want to be pretty clean and I have good bed adhesion with my current setup. This is the first layer, and then it prints on top. I like to scrub at least to have a sanity check. Doesn't need a brim. That, oh, actually, that infill is all that I need. Let's change, what is it? Print settings. My top and bottom layers I can change to 0, and then change the infill. Cubic is fine, but then up it. Doesn't need to be 50%. How about 40%? How about less than that? 30%. Less than that even. 20%. That is good enough to keep it together. So now so this will take 14 minutes to print. Oh, you can't see. Design image off. You might not be able to see still, but down here it has a little print time estimated 14 minutes. Turn that back on. Oh, I never applied it. Oops. There we go. Now you might be able to see. 14 minutes down here in the corner. and that is an estimated print time. It's usually at least like 5 minutes more because it takes time to set up the printer and stuff. But let's save this G code. Test. Entrance shell. And now let's go to my browser. How do I select a window? Yes, add source, new source, window, capture, true, sure. This will be this one. Turn off that, fit this to screen, transition. Okay, so this is my web interface for my printer. I can change a whole bunch of settings here. I'm going to preheat it a little so I can change the filament that I'm using. I use Clipper on my Voron 2.4, and the interface that I use is Mainsail. That's what this interface is, Mainsail. There's other types. The last model that I printed was this rotary gear set. It's really cool. I do not have one in reach. I think I used a generator that somebody made to make, like, using OpenSCAD, but I put my letters on it and it spins and it's way cool. But I have to go check the printer itself, and I do not have a webcam, and it's over in another room, so hold on one sec while I go swap the filament there. Okay, filament is swapped, so now I can click the upload and print. It pulls up a dialog box. I have a test print to make, and this is what it's going to look like. So it goes through standard operating procedure. It sets, well, essentially it's just following the G code that I put in, and the slicer generated it. So right now it's preheating the extruder and the heated bed, but because I typed in the numbers earlier, it was already close. So now the extruder is up to temp. Here, I might be able to zoom in for you. I need more space. Okay, that is very much unhelpful. Fit. Can I think I can crop. then I can expand. Yeah, here we go. So this is current temperature graph. And let's turn off the design image too. The red is the extruding, the heater block. The heater bed is blue. Let me go check on the print because it's doing a, right now it's doing an auto bed leveling procedure. And I gotta make sure like it's clean before it actually starts printing. And I'm back. So it is printing now. I'm using some filament that I have a lot of. It's transition filament, which is what you end up with when you have a filament making machine and you change the pellets and the dye that it's using. You go from making one color to making a different color, and you extrude filament to clean out the insides. And it's good filament. It's just a wacky color. It's neither one of them because it goes in between. And so I bought mine from Atomic Filament, and they just had a box of transition spools. So I'm using a filament that I have a lot of because for some reason they had to transition off this or something. And it's great filament, but it doesn't look very good. It's kind of transparenty, glittery, red-ish, but it just kind of isn't one that I would use to print anything besides if I was going to paint it or something. But anyway, it doesn't matter what the color of this print is going to be. I just need the dimensions correct. And then I'll print a fancy one in my glow-in-the-dark filament afterward. And this is going to take a little while. Looks like it's done with the first layer because I have 215 be the first layer temperature, but then it drops down to 207. And there are still a bunch of things that I need to do. The printer technically is not finished. I don't have a serial number for it, but it has been working for me for months. So I just kind of gotta work up the courage to finish it. If I have to stream doing so in order to get that done, then I might do that. But either way, this is gonna take like 15 minutes. It says it's you can't see that. It says it's 19% or 20% done. Just mostly because the preview, here, let me zoom out again. The preview image is, oh, interesting. How do I clear all transforms and stuff? Oh no, how do I do that? Undo, no. What was I saying? The preview itself is coded into the G code, and that takes up a lot of lines. How do I zoom back out? Oops. fit to screen. There we go. Okay, there's the interface again. Up here, it says, you can't see that either. It says 32%. Here, let's just, it says 33% printing. So it is going up fast. It should only last 15 minutes to get this print finished. And that's one of the reasons why I cut it up, because I only need this slice and I need it to be fast just so I can test to see if it fits. But that's all that I needed to do with this project. So I'll probably end the stream now. If any of you are interested in seeing the end result of this project, then you can join my Discord, because I post there a lot in the 3D printing channel. And so I'll probably take a picture when we get all of this going, and I've printed them in glow in the dark, and so I can make it all glowy and stuff. And when we assemble it for a game, I'll take a picture and post it there. But thanks everybody for stopping by. You're a cool solicitor. Keep doing art. You're a valuable member of this community. I love seeing your stuff. And MoSpider, I'll see you this weekend. Let me know if for logistics and stuff. But thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you next time. Where is my end of stream? There it is. Come on, credits. Do your thing. Yeah! Oh, hey. Here, let's go like this. Badoom. Hey, what's up? I'm still streaming. So, hey, say hi to everybody.
Hello, I am no longer in chat. Well, I'm still in chat, but now I'm talking as well.
Well, goodbye, everybody. Thanks for watching.